Hey y'all, Zelda here. I am here to talk to you about the Fool and timeline jumping. So if that's something you're interested in, feel free to stick around. I'm going to spend a couple moments just tuning in and calling our spirits in particular calling in the energy of the Fool, as well as this guide who I'm not going to share too much about, but I wanted to show since it is a new carver, Bill McWright, and I love this being. And this being has really been connecting me to the energy of the Fool as an opportunity to leap into a new timeline. So, if you would like to gather your energy with me now, feel free to do that. If you would like to skip ahead, you can also do that as well. I do encourage you to ground your energy and be open to receiving the messages coming through. And if they do not land, please use that as information about how to guide yourself towards something that does feel aligned. I encourage you to see all of that information, all your responses and reactions as useful feedback from your system. So if you are here and you would like to tune in, I call upon my own great spirits and the great spirits of every person watching this video. Thank you for your protection and support now and always. Thank you, Creator, for this moment, welcoming all the versions of ourselves, past, present, future, greater, and shadow, from this and every timeline, for aligning us here now. I call upon the Fool in all your ancient wisdom to be here and share your wisdom. May I be ever present to receive. Thank you. So, part of what I wanted to share about this is inspired by this journey that I am embarking upon, the Fool journey, where I actually have like 25 Fool cards from all the tarot decks that I own, which is 25, which I'm not open to feedback about how many tarot decks that is. So that's how many tarot decks I have right now. They're probably like more in the mail. But it is inspired by the experience that I have been having of like all of these memories of Fool moments in my life. And it feels very like this card I really like. This leap into the unknown, but also like an unknowing of how unknown it is. So as I was kind of thinking of the Fool, one of the things that I thought about was, or the memories that arrived, were these moments in my life where things dramatically changed, where I can look back and see like, wow, I really leapt into the unknown. But at the time, frankly, like the courage and the verve of ability to do that was kind of like I was like running after a beautiful butterfly or something and just like jumped over a chasm to get it and didn't like think too much. Like I didn't think like, oh, I'm really brave or I'm really courageous. I thought, oh, I have no idea how I did that, right? And I'm sure that you have moments in your life too, like hard things that you reflect on where you're like, I have no idea how I survived that experience or how that worked out or how I can summon that energy to take that risk again. And one of those moments in my own life was that I, after a long experience of not going to school for a couple of years that I'm not going to get into, I was living with someone and they said, oh, I think you would really like the school that I went to, the college that I went to. And I said, okay. And I looked at it and I was like, it's kind of interesting. I applied. It's the only place I applied to. I got in. And then I moved there. I never went and visited. I didn't think about what it was going to be like. I didn't think about how hard it was going to be. I went and it dramatically changed my life. I this was certainly what I experienced as a timeline jump, where like the trajectory of my life like shifted fully at that point. And it shifted into greater alignment with who I am and my soul's purpose in the world. And at the time, it felt like I'm gonna carpe this diem and like seize the day. I'm just gonna like jump after it. Like, this is the next chapter, right? I'm starting the new chapter of my life. But I moved somewhere where I didn't know anyone. I took the plunge where I had never been before. In a situation that was drastically different than what I was doing. I left behind a life that I was not enjoying, but that I was very entrenched in. And this is something I recently was listening to something. I think it was P the Fury, who is great and talks a lot about timeline jumping. And I'm not talking about the timeline jumping method that P uses. I haven't done that actually personally, but what I have done is I've worked with unicorns who are very connected to timelines, which I love actually that the unicorn or the rainbow is present, since unicorns are very associated with rainbows. And this kind of like full spectrum of experience and like the merging together, the capacity to move between realms. But this feeling of like diving in and not knowing exactly how far, exactly how deep the water is, but knowing like, oh, I have to go. Like, this person is naked, right? Not clothed, not burdened with things. And when I look back, it didn't feel brave. Because I wasn't worried about what was going to happen. It felt like, yeah, this is the next thing I'm doing. Like, let's go. And I just tripped along and figured out all the hard shit later, And so this is sometimes what I think the Fool moments feel like, right? Is sometimes they're not that huge, but even that, like, there is a way in which you are being invited to step into a new version of yourself by following the thing that sparks, that lights you up, that is delightful. How are you moving with a lack of inhibition? How are you remembering your interconnectedness, your birthright of realizing your soul's purpose in this world, your mission in being here? And if this language doesn't resonate with you, go check it out. Find language that does, right? I'm using the language that makes sense, that I feel guided to use for this particular topic. So this is one of the things, like, it shows this full spectrum, like weather, lightning, storms, crashing, rocks, beautiful rainbow, sun, blue sky, right? There are so many pieces and elements here coming together to provide that plunge and the refreshing experience of like trusting that you're going to come up for air when it's time, and enjoying that leap, the leap of devotion. So I'm curious if you reflect for yourself, are there moments in your own life that you can reflect now on in the past where you recognize this Fool energy? Are there people in your life that inspire you? Is this an energy that you have easy access to? Because I also think that there's like a shadow side of like what happens when we plunge into every moment without any consideration of what is coming. Like, sometimes I think the Fool can be like getting lost in delight. It doesn't have to be like a major transition. Sometimes that is a courageous shift, actually, just to get nourished, to begin again, to have that like apply that newness, that freshness to what is already here. And in terms of like the moments where you've shifted timelines, like now the Fool has been showing me all of these different places where this has happened in my own life, and also is showing me like the ways in which following and nurturing that energy is important to know how to do that and how to bring that into my life now. So, Fools, timeline jumping, what do you think? If you'd like to follow more of this journey, you can subscribe here, where I'll be putting videos. You can follow me at my newsletter, which is free on my website, or you can check out my blog, where I'm going to be posting reflections on the tarot cards for like maybe the next year. We'll see. We'll see where Spirit guides us, huh? So it is in love that I received you, your energy, and your spirits today. Thank you to the Fool for sharing this wisdom with us. And it is in love that I return your spirits and your energy to you now.